Hey all, welcome to A Fistful of Dice. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be taking a look at the D&D 5th Edition Dungeon Master screen. So this landscape style screen retails for $14.99, but you can get it online for about $10 in most online retailers. As you can see, it's nice, thick, laminated cardboard. We're going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to show you what's inside. So the art is pretty cool. It depicts a battle with a red dragon, and you can see we've got obviously like a wizard, a cleric, a ranger, and maybe a rogue doing battle with this beast. And on the sides, it's going to be kind of hard to show you the whole thing, but you can see we've got either a fighter or a barbarian looking guy back here, and there's actually some kobolds closing in on the party from the sides. You can see that. So that's pretty cool. I do like the art. It sort of has a classic fantasy kind of feel to it. It definitely reminds me of some of the art from AD&D personally. So I'm a big fan of it. The inside is really nicely laid out, and it's probably one of my favorite DM screens that I've ever seen. So I'm going to try to give you a kind of a broad look at it here of what it looks like. You can see there's actually art inside of the inside of it, which kind of mirrors the look of the core rule books with kind of the parchmenty looking texture to the paper, with the images sort of splashing in on the side, sort of watercolor style. So that's really nice. And a lot of people are saying, oh, there's a lot of empty space, there's a lot of wasted space. And it's like, no, you want to be able to look at this quickly and find what you're looking for, easily in the heat of a game. You don't want this thing overloaded with a bunch of unnecessary information. So the way they've laid this out is, in 5th edition, they kind of have the mantra of interaction, combat, exploration. Those are the three pillars of D&D. And so the DM screen sort of follows those ideas. So on this first one, you have the interaction panel. And what you have here is you have roll tables for rolling up an NPC. And these are similar to the tables that you're going to find in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but they're a little trimmed down and simpler, so you can use them really quickly on the fly, and you don't have to sit there and flip through a book. And the first thing you have is characteristics, and then ideals, bonds, flaws, and a really cool name generator that I have already gotten use out of. And how it works is you roll a d20 3 times, and you put 3 parts together to create a name. So let's say you roll a d20, you get a 5. So you get A. You roll a d20, you get 12. You get pen. You roll a d20, you get 20. You get us. So you get Apennis. So Apennis, the elven scholar or whatever. It's a really kind of slick, elegant way to create names on the fly, not just for NPCs, but honestly, like for towns and stuff. Like I was generating a town sort of on the fly during a session this weekend, and I used this name generator, and I came up with, I rolled the name Osric, and I decided to call the town Osric's Bluff, and all of a sudden, who's Osric? Well, he's the guy who founded the town, and I can kind of, go from there. The second panel, the second, third, and part of I guess just the second and third are dominated by the conditions. And this is really handy. The conditions sort of play a big role in 5th edition. Obviously, there's not as many conditions as there were in 4th edition, but there are still conditions that, do a lot of different things in combat. So that's really nice to be able to quickly look and find which condition you need to see. And there's these nifty little kind of doodly illustrations next to each of them to help you kind of quickly find them. One thing I would have liked to have seen here, in addition to the conditions, would be actions in combat. A really easy way to see what is an action, because there's a lot of different things you can do in 5th edition. You can attack, you can cast a spell, obviously, but you can also do things like disengage, dodge, grapple, things like this that aren't laid out here on the screen. And for me, from my standpoint, that's something I'm a little rustier on when it comes to the rules. So I really would have liked to have seen something about actions you can take in combat. But, you know, say la vie. Beggars can't be choosers. And then in this third panel here, you've got, you know, the rest of the conditions, obviously, but then we have the exploration, which bleeds over into the fourth and final panel, which has the really awesome Tarrasque art from the core rulebooks. So what you have here is things like cover, obscurity, light, a really easy reference for skill checks and skill DCs, so you can really easy look and see what's a hard, what's a moderate, what's a, you know, nearly impossible DC for skill checks, things like that. Moving over, you have things like travel pace, an encounter roll table for finding out how often encounters should be happening based on different terrain, damage level, so you can decide, you know, oh, I want to deal this much damage, they're level 1, I want it to be kind of a setback, so okay, 1d10 damage. So that's kind of really handy to have. And then you have these little plot things over here. Something happens. It's a roll table for something interesting happening in the campaign. They find a dead body. The weather changes, a monster attacks, you know, things like this. A fire starts somewhere. So it's a really easy way to kind of like spice up the game. You know, maybe you're hitting a lull, you want to throw something interesting in, a really easy way to do that. And then also a quick find table, which is similar to a loot table, but not as specific. So it's things like they find a map, they find a book, they find a key, or they find some jewelry or something like that. And then you can kind of go from there. And if you want to get more specific with it, you can, of course, open up your Dungeon Master's Guide and go from there. But just a nice, quick, and easy reference. So yeah, that is the 5th edition DM screen. I really like this screen. I used it today for the first time during a little one-on-one session with my fiance Tila. I really enjoyed using it. I found myself actually referring to it, which, you know, I like DM screens for the fact that they keep my notes hidden, and I can, if I want to roll in secret, I can. But I don't find myself referencing DM screens very often. I have the Pathfinder screen, and there is so much information on that screen that I hesitate to look at it during the session. But I found myself referencing this sheet, or this screen, and actually utilizing the roll tables in it several times throughout the session. So, for that right there is a testament to its usefulness. So, definitely not a perfect product by any means. But, you know, for $15, this is probably my favorite DM screen I've ever had. Really nice quality. I love that it's landscape. Landscape is lower, obviously, than a portrait style DM screen. So it's a little bit wider, but it's not as tall, so it's easier to see over the screen, interact with your players a little bit more. You don't feel as separated from them. And it's also easier if you're playing with maps and miniatures and things like that. You are better able to see over the screen and still utilize those gaming peripherals. So if you're looking for something that will serve as both a reference tool, a cool piece of art to set the tone for your game, and just a quality screen to hide your dastardly DM deeds, definitely check out the D&D 5th edition Dungeon Master's screen. It's available now at Wizards Play Network stores, and I believe it's going to be released everywhere else on January 20th. So definitely check it out. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for me. Take care and happy gaming all.